6 green weeks were way too much, and the market decided this week to take one leg down. We're going to summarize everything that happened this week, or at least the headlines that happened this week. We're going to talk about next week, which is the biggest week of earnings for this season. And let's directly dive in. And you know what? Let's start with our channel. And the reason for that is, I don't know if you've been following, but if you're not subscribed and you didn't turn notifications on, you might have not got notified that every day in the last week, I've uploaded a discussion that I have with ChatGPT. Every morning, I give her the news, and we have a conversation on the top 3, maybe 4 headlines of the week. You can find it here day after day. So if you would like to see where the news or where the TV is going from here forward, you're more than welcome to join to start enjoying this. And of course, we'll keep doing our weekly summary. Let's start with the major averages as they ended the week. NASDAQ still green, up 0.14 for the week, but S&P down almost 1%. RSP, the equal weighted, down 2%. Dow Jones down 2.68%, and the Russell down 3% for the week. These are the major indices. You can see that the XLY, consumer discretionary, is the only one that it's on the green, mainly due to Tesla's earnings. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. All the rest are on the red, with XLB Materials down 3.76% for the week. You can see the crypto market did not provide any safe haven, down 1.2% and 7% for the Ethereum. Mainly, the drop has been in Friday with the attack or the fear of attack. Actually, the crypto market, this already includes the attack. The attack, or actually the retaliation attack between Israel and Iran. And this is commodities, natural gas up 12% and crude oil up 3%. Both silver and gold fractionally up and down, not something dramatic on that side. And this is the Magnificent Seven, most of them between 2.5% and 1.5%. But look at Tesla, up 21.97%, almost 22% for Tesla after reporting earnings that the earnings themselves came better than expected. Revenue came lower than expected. So why is the stock up so much? Is because everyone came into the earnings expecting the regular show, the regular bad show, I want to say, from Elon Musk. The team came very focused and mainly provided a clear roadmap for when autonomy would be ready and when the robotaxi would be ready and which states are going to start using it. And that, of course, provided the insight that the analysts were waiting for, and they increased their earnings per share guide for the next, or at least the analysts raised their EPS estimates for the next 6 to 18 months. And that brought Tesla stock up for the week by 21.9%, which brings it back to where it was October 1st. Not something more dramatic than that. Let's dive into the news, and we'll start with Friday night. Which camera? This one. Friday night, Israel strikes Iranian military targets. That, of course, was hovering on top of the market all Friday. And we will see how the market will react on Monday. This was a limited attack, only focused on military targets. We had a lot of earnings this week. Again, we talked about Tesla, was the major one. We had Boeing earnings, which weren't good. We're going to talk about Boeing in a second. We had UPS, but mainly most of the attention Tesla got during the week. Boeing, at least the management got to an agreement with the union, but the employees did not agree to the settlement. So Boeing still on strike. Microsoft is going to roll out in the next month a new autonomous AI agent. All this, of course, to try to make more people use Copilot. A judge blocked the merger between Tapestry and Capri. And I talked about it on our daily video, if you watch that. 2 high-end brands that want to merge, and of course, FTC went after them. Would that be the target in the future? I don't know, but it's quite funny that is the merger that they blocked. McDonald's, or at least the CDC, found E. coli in the burgers, in the quarter pounder. According to McDonald's, it's probably the onions behind it. And there was one person that died, 49 illnesses in 10 states. The quarter pounder, at least the onions were taken off the menu. And Burger King as well, represented by Yum Brands, YUM, also took the onions off their menu as well. Frontier and Save, Spirit Airlines are talking to merger. Spirit Airlines is on the verge of Chapter 11. And maybe this merger will keep them afloat. ARM is canceling their license to Qualcomm after probably some kind of legal dispute between them. But Qualcomm is working with Google and announced today that they're teaming up to offer a combination of chips and software to let automakers develop their own AI voice assistants. And from what I've heard, Mercedes-Benz is the one that is going to be probably the first one to kind of implement that. Walmart is offering seamless same-day pharmacy delivery. Disney will name Bob Iger's replacement in early 2026. James Gorman, who was Morgan Stanley's CEO and chairman, is going to lead their efforts and also their board. And let's see what happens with Apple. So Apple this week is probably going to announce Apple Intelligence in their iPhones. But we did hear that there's a slump in sales, and that's why they slashed iPhone 16 prices, at least in China, by $225. That's a lot of money. GDP comes 3.4%, which means the American economy is strong and growing. Jamie Dimon might leave his office as the CEO of JP Morgan. If Kamala Harris would win the presidency, he might be her treasurer. Costco is starting to sell Peloton bikes. Peloton had 2 very strong days this week after Benny Einhorn presented that he owns a big stake in Peloton. Netflix shifts their focus to casual gaming instead of one of their studios, AAA. Nike extended their game-changing partnership with WNBA and NBA. The FAA finalized their rules on what we call the humanized drones. Starbucks gave their preliminary report on their full year, which basically said, we are not growing, we're selling less than expected, we're going to have shitty reports this week. Amazon is preparing to launch a new low-price storefront to compete with Timo and Shein. And Apple also is cutting about 10 million iPhone 16 orders for the next year. Warren Buffett updated this week on a very rudimentary PDF saying, I'm not endorsing any investment in political candidates. And I was surprised because I thought Mr. Buffett, no, come on. Really? Was someone thinking that Warren Buffett supports such a thing? Warren Buffett, the most, let's call it the most sane person in investing would want to invest in these kinds of things, but he needed to clarify because apparently people did think that. Southwest and the activist Elliott Management struck a deal where Bob Jordan will stay as CEO till the end of the year, but 6 new directors will be appointed. Taiwan Semi was able to their yield of chips production surpassed Taiwan's manufacturing, which means that they are now at a point in the US where they can create chips in the same level of accuracy as in Taiwan, and now all they need is to scale their operations. CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, says that he's going to keep investing in China. They shouldn't be worried the fact that he's going after India as well. Microsoft CEO decides that he doesn't want a pay raise. He actually wants a pay reduction because of everything that happened with CrowdStrike. It's not that he's not making money. He just doesn't want to make so much money. And the New York Stock Exchange just announced their plans to extend their weekday trading to 22 hours a day. Means that we will sleep only 2 hours a day. That's not enough, but that's what they want to do. Last but not least, Boeing is expressing, or at least exploring, the sales of their space business. Now, is it a good business? Very good question. After they left 2 astronauts in space, I'm not sure that it's such a good business. By the way, put the cynicism aside, Boeing's space program is considered one of the most advanced programs that exist. Of course, SpaceX is better, but still, it's a very good program. Let's get to next week. Next week, we have almost 50% of the S&P 500 companies that are reporting. Companies on Monday like Ford and Waste Management. Tuesday is a bigger day when we will open. Before the open, we'll get SoFi, PayPal, BP, McDonald's, Pfizer, Royal Caribbeans, and JetBlue. After the close, we will get AMD, Google, Snapchat, Chipotle, Visa, and others. That will bring us to Wednesday, where we will see Eli Lilly, Caterpillar, Humana, and others. And of course, Wednesday after the close, we will get Microsoft, Meta, Coinbase, Robinhood, Sanova, and others. And Thursday, the big Thursday, with Uber, Peloton, Merck, Altria, MasterCard, and Estee Lauder. And at the close, Amazon, Intel, Atlassian, and others. Where Friday, we will get the rest, which is Fubo, Chevron, Exxon, Wayfair, and others. We're less than 10 days from election. Currently, Polymarket, which has the gambling odds toward Donald Trump, 63-36. Other polls, of course, are a lot more, let's say, are a lot less pointed toward Trump. Remember that November 5th is going to be a very, very important day, not only for, of course, the U.S. because of the voting, but mainly because if it's going to be very close, then it might drag a few more weeks. And of course, the market doesn't like that kind of drag. From different events this week, I'll just take it all the way forward to core PCs that is coming out Thursday before the bell. And Friday, we're going to get unemployment. Those are the two major macro events. Fed officials will not be able to talk this week because they're in a blackout period. Next week, they have a Fed meeting. And that brings us to the S&P 500, when we will look at the Japanese candlesticks on a weekly cycle. And you can see that for the last 6 weeks, we went up. And this week, we ended red. The light blue line here is the 20-week moving average. As you can see, we've bumped against it time after time. And every time we were able to overcome and keep going up. If we go down to test that 20-week moving average, that might bring us to around 5,600, which is a good support area for the S&P 500. If we drop lower than 56 or 5,500, that might bring us to a bigger correction than we saw so far. Up until 56, it's about 3.5% from the peak. If we go down more, then we might see a bigger correction to around 5% from the peak. In nominal perspective, it means that we might get all the way down to 55.87. Again, not a big surprise. Market is up 22% for the year. A correction before end of year rally seems like something that might be in the cards. Every day, a conversation with Chatty, usually around 10 a.m. Eastern, and weekly summary. Till next time. Bye-bye.